Oh, welcome to something a little off topic. My nephew gave me this Jericho B Umarex Airsoft pistol to see if I could repair it. It doesn't stay cocked anymore, so something's worn. I've got a pretty good idea of what, so I'm going to see if I can repair it. Online, as far as I could see, I haven't found any instructions on how to take it apart or even any attempts at repairs, so maybe this will be a first. Now these aren't supposed to be disassembled, but that doesn't stop the chap now, does it? So I'll take it apart and see if we can resolve the issue. So on closer inspection, the only thing we can possibly remove for disassembly are a pin here and a pin there. This here is not a real pin, and nor is that. So we'll take those out. I just have 2 bits of wood and a brass hammer and appropriately shaped drift, and I'll just tap those out in the gap there. So the 2 parts apart, we have the trigger mechanism, which you can in fact just pull out. It's a unit there. You have a trigger bar there, which makes a little sear move at the back there. And you have a safety mechanism there, which is a crossbar, which makes this pin stick out there and blocks the transfer bar. So nice positive safety there. And the hammer is basically passive. It doesn't cock or anything. It's just there for show. And here in the slide we have the entire barrel assembly. We have the I'll take it apart, easier, isn't it? There, so barrel assembly with a BB feed ramp. Here you have the stripping piece, shall we say, that strips a BB off the from the magazine. And then you have an air chamber at the back and the piston, which then gets shoved in under spring pressure. And I can already see the source of the problem, and that is that the piston here, this gets, I'll remove that, this is what gets retained by the sear, and you can see that this bit here is completely worn into a curve, which is understandable because you've got a metal sear in a plastic groove here. So you know, after a good bit of use, it's going to wear away, and that's what has happened. And the way this works on the trigger mech is that this tail here, when it gets pulled back, goes into a slot like that, and gets retained. This is what should happen. So the hammer is held back, simulates a cocked condition, and the piston is held back quite firmly, but with the spring tension behind it, it's worn so much that it's not holding. So without spring pressure you can hear there's a nice positive click when it goes in, he says. Let's do it again slowly. Need 2 hands, 3 hands, there you go. So this should slide back when you cock it, and there you can hear the sear engaging, and that's where it should stick. It's not doing that, it's riding up. So my idea is to perhaps insert a piece of metal there, so you can have a sharp corner, a harder corner on which the sear can engage. That's the theory, at least. So the first stage has been to clean up this little hole, which I've just done with a craft knife, make it sharp again. Now this is probably enough to make it function again. Problem is, you still got a metal sear against this plastic lip here, so it's only going to last so long, and then we're going to have the same problem again. So what I'm going to do next is drill a little slot and put in a thin shim in there, like so, and then it should last a good while. So here's the repair. There's a little bit of steel there, shim, and there it is folded in, and also with a bit of, this is 2-part epoxy I've put in, so I'll leave it overnight to cure and set, and then we'll reassemble tomorrow and see if it worked. So here we are the next day. The resin has cured. There you can see a nice metal ridge which is going to contact the metal sear, and there's a little lump of resin there in there which I've filed down a bit. I've just used a semicircular file there and carefully taken some material out because it was going to interfere with the spring here, and also it was catching on this spring guide plate inside the slide. Well, I'll show you. It sits like this inside the slide, and the piston gets pushed back against the spring, and there are 4 guide ribs on the end here, and the top one would get stuck on that lump, so I've taken that one off. It's just plastic, so you can just file that clean, and then they make like that. There's no loss of centering because there's this tube here and there's the corresponding inner tube in the piston, so there's no alignment issue. So there we go. Now we just need to reassemble it and hopefully it'll work. Now I have given these a little spray of silicone oil since I've been working away at it. It's really got dust and grit and all sorts. Right, now put all this in without anything losing alignment. That's the trick. There, I think we're good. So we need to push the pins in again. Put the wrong one in the wrong hole. There you go, and tap those in flush. Right, moment of truth. Safety off. Oh, like that sound? Hammer's back. Hooray! Now I've only got one BB. See if that goes. Target over there. Right. Does what it's supposed to do. Great.